I'm logged into Google Email and I want to look at the documents. So I've clicked on Google Docs, and in particular I want to focus on the survey forums that we looked at in earlier clips and what's behind those survey forums. So here I have a spreadsheet that is the end product of where an email was sent to students on the Camogie course, the Camogie administration course. An email was sent to them where they were given a list of projects that they could pick from. So here's a spreadsheet that results from that. So I'll just flick back to the actual original forum first. So that's the spreadsheet that you open up. This is the forum behind the spreadsheet that was built on which the spreadsheet actually gathered or hoovered up the data from. So I'm now going to look at the forum for a few minutes. This is the forum, and the forum just simply said, Camogie course, project topics, vote for your preferred project topics. So all the students had to do was give their name in the text box up here, and then vote for in order of preference for 5 different projects. So the 5 project titles were here: retaining teenage Camogie players, transition from player to volunteer, marketing the finals, PR project for a recent established club, and membership system for Camogie. And then you just had to say first preference, second preference, third, fourth, and fifth preferences. So you tick the relevant boxes, tick the relevant option on each line that you wanted. Now you could, if you were the flow on this survey perhaps was you could have made, all of them. You could tick the same one on each line if you like. Tick all of column 1 for Camogie players. So it depended on the user's kind of integrity and user's common sense in terms of ticking one box on one value in each row, and then ticking a different one compared to the previous row. So that's the form that the user was sent, and when they received that, they filled it in. They ticked something as maybe retaining teenage Camogie players as number 1, transition number 2, marketing number 3, PR number 4, and membership system number 5, or whatever. So that was that. So then over a couple of days the replies came in, and this is the spreadsheet that I saw when I went to analyze the data, when I was looking at the results. So what I saw here was that on the 20th of October at 3 o'clock I filled in a sample one myself just to see how it was working, and then over on the 20th of October the next 4 or 5 people filled it in, and that was their the time they filled it in at, and then their choices. So after each person, then you can see the choices they made. So that we'll say the first person there, Sheena Veal, he picked PR number 1, transition number 2, retaining the player number 3, membership system number 4, and marketing the All Ireland Camogie finals number 5, and so on. So that's the actual way that the data collates in the spreadsheet. So when you design your survey forum, you send it to your various we'll say guests, or people you invite. They fill it in, and this is what you get back at the end. So that's the final result of it. When you get that spreadsheet back, you can do many things with it. One of the things you can do with it is just look at the summary of the responses. So what I've done here, if you look in the below in column C that's currently hidden, I have all the retained Camogie players highlighted in yellow, and there was 10 of them. So I just was using that as a means of checking my other work. So when I go and look at this this forum here, where it shows me the summary, I can see that the first preference, retaining Camogie players, was the most popular. And if you scroll down a little bit further, I can see that there were 10 people who nominated that, whereas membership system just 2 nominations as a first preference, and marketing the All Ireland finals had 1. And then if you go down to the second preferences and third preferences, etc., you can see similar stats. And the very last block of data you see is the number of daily responses. So on the 19th of October there were 8 people that responded, and then on the various other dates there was between 1 and 2 people that responded typically. So that's the kind of the summary stats you can get back from the actual when you look at the thing in a kind of graphical format. Okay, the other things you can do with the data in the spreadsheet, this is a Google spreadsheet now. Okay, so this isn't exactly an Excel spreadsheet, but if you did want to manipulate that data further and you didn't want to go learning how to use the Google spreadsheet, you could download it. So you can download it in whatever format you want: CSV file, text file, Excel file. OpenOffice, which is an alternative to Microsoft Office, and a PDF file. So in my case, I want to download that thing as a spreadsheet. It's going to offer me an opportunity to save it somewhere on my hard disk. So we'll say I'm going to save it here under GAA, and I have a spreadsheet called Camogie, I think, somewhere, or a folder called Camogie, and I'm just going to leave it as it is, Camogie course project topics. Okay, so I'll just shorten the name a bit of it, and I'm happy to save it as an Excel file, 2003 file, so I can save that and download it. So that just illustrates the fact that whatever data you gather using Google Forms ends up in a Google spreadsheet, and then you can download that spreadsheet to your own PC and manipulate it further if you want to. On the other hand, what you could do if you needed to is you could go to in Google Docs itself, you can go and learn how to use the spreadsheets features. So there's various options here to edit it like you do a normal spreadsheet. Insert rows, various functions that you can have. Okay, I'll try the count function here and see what happens. Okay, so it's going to count that block of cells, so just like you would in Excel. In other words, it'll count the number of people that replied. So I'm going to ignore NT up at the top if I can. It just hasn't done what I wanted. So I'll try it one more time. So go into function again, insert function, choose count, and I think I want it to be cell B2. I'll just type it here because it's faster. B2, if I can get into this count function. I'll go up here in the editing line, up above column A, so count B2 colon B21. And it gives me a 0. So I'm not sure what it's doing or what it's meant to be doing. So B2 is where the first person, where my own name was, and B21. So that just illustrates that I don't know enough about Google Spreadsheets either. Okay, the count should count up the number of values in those cells in the normal run of events. So that's one of the reasons why you might download it to Excel. Okay, so there's lots of things here that Google has its spreadsheet, but typically Excel is more has a greater variety of, we'll say, functions and features and tools that you might use. So that's a look at, I said, the form in Google Forms that you build. You send that form out to your users, they fill it in, and this is how it collates in the background spreadsheet. So that's the end of this clip.